What's up guys, Shreddy here with another episode of the Pokemon Card Classic. Today we're looking at the Legendary Collection. This was voted on by you, so make sure that you're following me on Twitter and Instagram as well. The links will be down below. Let me know down in the comments below which your favourite set was out of the Base, Jungle, Fossil, Rocket, which were all cards included in the Legendary Collection. So let's take a look at my collection.
Are you ready for Shreddy?
So the Legendary Collection is honestly one of my favourite sets within all of Pokemon for a number of reasons that I'm going to cover in this video. So the Legendary Collection was a Wizards of the Coast exclusive reprint set because Wizards of the Coast needed to fill some time between Neo Destiny releasing and the Game Boy Advance e-reader machine and the Expedition set coming out. In that time, Japan had two extra sets that were not released in English. The Legendary Collection was a reprint of the Big Four. So if you think back to 1999, 2000, when Pokemon was at its absolute peak with the base set, Jungle, Fossil and Rocket. The Legendary Collection collected all of these cards together and reprinted them into one set. There was also no first edition printed of this set. It was rumoured to be called Base Set 3, but because Base Set 2 was absolutely crap, Wizards of the Coast obviously got their act together and thought we need to do something good this time. So what we're looking at in this video, Shredheads, is Shreddy's Legendary Collection. Collection, I said it twice, because we're looking at my collection of the Legendary Collection. First up, we have one opened booster box. I've told the story, I'm going to quickly recap it now. Biggest regrets in terms of Pokemon card collecting, trading, selling was selling a sealed booster box of this, I don't know, 7 years ago. Wish I kept it sealed. The reason I sold it is because I bought two of these. My plan was to open them to collect my own complete Legendary Collection set. By the time both of these boxes got delivered to me, I'd actually built up 3 entire Legendary Collection sets. Got the boxes, sold the boosters out of this one, sold the other one sealed. That box is now worth at least 10 grand. Cash money. So I've still got one open booster box, and I'll leave the memories alone. So what sealed products do I still have from the Legendary Collection? Uno, Dos, that's 2 for, you know, people who don't speak Spanish out there. We have both sealed Legendary decks. So this is the one with the non-holo Charizard in. This is the one with the non-holo Dark Blastoise and the Dark Raichu. And the bulk of my Legendary Collection is 2 complete Legendary Collection sets and 1 complete reverse holo set. The set had 110 cards in it. Booster packs contained 11 cards. 1 rare or holo cards. The holo card was a 1 in 3 chance of pulling. Every single pack had a reverse holo. You would get 3 uncommon cards and 6 common cards. So reverse holo in every pack. What the flip is a reverse holo?
What the flip?
Well, Shreddy's going to tell you. A reverse holo was the absolute best part about the Legendary Collection set. Think your normal holo cards, add a little sizzle, add a little spice. Now this is something that's continued throughout, I think, almost every single set since, but none have been as good as the Legendary Collection. These are what fans call the firework cards, because just take a look at them. The reverse holo on these is absolutely, pun intended, legendary. So the reverse holos, they printed 1 of every single card. So that essentially takes this card from a 110 card set to a 220 card set. Reverse holos typically charge a higher price than what the regular cards would be, with a couple of exceptions. Usually PSA 10s of the Charizard and the Dark Blastoise in the set. Adding these reverse holo cards to the set made it a lot more difficult to actually scale and weigh packs. So for those who don't know, scaling packs means you take a booster pack, you put it on some very precise scales, you measure it to see what the weight is. The heavier packs would contain a holo card. The Legendary Collection also added box toppers into the trading card game. So these were jumbo-sized cards, Dark Blastoise, Charizard, Dark Raichu and Mewtwo. These 4 box toppers also doubled up as a checklist, but let's be honest, if you marked anything off on one of these checklists, you're an idiot. It also had 2 theme decks, and these 2 theme decks contained 3 exclusive cards that you could only get within the theme decks. You had Lava, which contained a non-holo Charizard with the base set art. The only way you've been able to get one of these in all of the Pokemon trading card game. And the Turmoil deck contained a non-holo Dark Blastoise and a non-holo Dark Raichu, which for this set was exclusive to those decks only. So that's 3 cards you couldn't pull from booster packs. So what made the Legendary Collection a good set? Because base set 2 was absolutely crap. Everyone hated base set 2. My brothers, sisters, parents who didn't collect Pokemon cards would look at base set 2 cards and say it's just the same as what you've already got. Base set 2 packs, I honestly don't think I ever bought a single booster pack. Base set 2 released not even a year after, or it was maybe like 13 months if that, after the original base set. People didn't need a reprint of any cards at that time. So the Legendary Collection came out 3 years after base set. In this time, we had
Base Set, Jungle, Fossil, Team Rocket, Gym Hero, Gym Challenge, Neo Genesis, Neo Discovery, Neo Revelation, Neo Destiny, and of course Base Set 2.
So what Legendary Collection did was go back to the root of the game, the first 4 sets, and reprint them into one set. But it introduced a number of new things to the card game, like I've just mentioned, such as the reverse holos, the box toppers, and even unique and exclusive artwork for some of the cards in the set, such as Mewtwo. The set overall had 110 cards in it. Of these 110 cards, you had 19 holo cards, 16 rare Pokemon cards, and 3 rare trainer cards. Unlike the Team Rocket, Jungle and Fossil sets that duplicated the holos rares and the rares as holos, Legendary Collection wasn't messing about doing that. You also had 36 common cards, 36 uncommon cards. You then double that up to another 110, so 220 in total, when you add in the Firework reverse holo cards. Remember, on top of this 110, you also had the 3 exclusive cards from the theme decks, as well as the 4 box toppers. So one of the most notable things about this set is that it changed the rarity of a couple of cards from what they'd been seen as previously in other sets. You thought Dark Persian was an easy card to get? Not in Legendary Collection. Legendary Collection changed Dark Persian from an uncommon card that was seen in the Team Rocket set to a holographic card in the Legendary Collection set. Golem from Fossil went from an uncommon card to a rare card. 2 of the biggest changes for me was actually taking Mewtwo base set from a holo card, changing the artwork but making it a non-holo in this set, but it was still a rare card, and also changing Nidoking from base set holo to just a rare card. So with all these changes, one of the other most baffling things for me was leaving Arcanine as just an uncommon card. This card was a beast, it looked class, it should have got a shiny. But because this set only contained 110 cards, some cards were obviously left out. Some of the most notable cards that are left out was Hitmonchan from the base set. So back in the day, 1999, 2000, in competitive play, Hitmonchan was one of the key players. It was a card that loads of decks were built around, and Hitmonchan just isn't in the Legendary Collection whatsoever. It also left out some of the cards from base 1, like Chansey was one of the highest HP cards, rivaling only Charizard in that set. No Chansey in the Legendary Collection. And even though we'd already had the Black Star promo version of Mew, the Japanese version of Fossil had Mew, the Legendary Collection still didn't include Mew. So how was the Legendary Collection received back in 2002? Pretty shit. By this point, we'd had 11 sets of Pokemon cards. By the time this set came out in 2002, the peak of Pokemon's popularity had started to fade off a lot. Pokemon Gold, it came out the year prior. Generation 2 Pokemon cards had came out at the end of 2000. But this was the set where I kind of stopped collecting and phased out of collecting for quite a few years. Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow was crazy popular. I covered that in my first Pokemon Card Classic video. The cartoon was mega popular. The trading cards, all the way up until Team Rocket, mega popular. The hype evolved for Generation 2, Pokemon Gold and Silver on the Game Boy Color. We just couldn't wait to get hold of it, basically. And for me, Generation 2 is when Pokemon peaked. I always consider Pokemon Gold and Silver the pinnacle of Pokemon games. And it held that place for me all the way up until Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The reason for this, without going too much into detail, this is another video for another day, is it contains
100 new Pokemon. It contains a brand new story, a new gym leaders, a new Pokemon league, a new region to explore.
And, spoiler alert,
Everything from Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, but you didn't know about that until you got to the end of the game, so it's almost like 2 games in 1.
mental. At the time, everyone had an auntie who was going to a car boot sale, getting a Japanese card, bringing it to school and showing something off. You always had that weird kid or that gobshite in the class as well, whose uncle worked at Pokemon Card Factory. It was getting all this information leaked, but then that information that was leaked would never end up being true, so that gobshite ended up talking bullshit. So even the Pokemon cards at this point, while we had the English versions of up to Team Rocket and the gym sets, even the Japanese cards were really popular at this time as well, because Pokemon was still super popular. So the next lot of cards, Generation 2, which was brand new Pokemon, in Japanese printed cards, you know, it was still exciting and the hype was still real. By the time things got released in England, the kind of fad, the kind of craze for Pokemon had started to die down a little bit. In terms of the card game, some slowly started kind of phasing out around the time that Gym Hero and Gym Challenge were released. Then when Neo Genesis and the other sets came out, there was a bit more of a decline in terms of popularity. By the time Neo Revelation came out, even though it's one of the better sets in the game and it's got so many shining, holographic and rare cards and valuable cards, people were kind of moving on from Pokemon. Whether it was kids like my age who were moving up to secondary school or high school and were kind of thinking that Pokemon's too kiddie for me now, whether it was teenagers who had just got bored of it, whatever it was, Pokemon was starting to die off a little bit. So when Legendary Collection came out as yet another reprint, I think this was the nail in the coffin for a lot of people. The next set after this was the Expedition set. I didn't buy or collect them when I was a kid. I remember seeing them in the Game Boy Advance e-reader, in the trading card shops and the toy shops, when I was in there buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh, by the way, I collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards. If you want to see any of that collection, let me know down below. Honestly, for me, this is legit one of my favourite sets in the entire Pokemon trading card game. At the time, it wasn't a popular set. It's probably where a lot of people zoned out of collecting. So at the time, people just weren't too hot on it. But I think over time, this set has gained popularity with people like me who look back fondly at the first 4 sets and see the Legendary Collection as kind of the greatest hits of that era. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of the Legendary Collection set. Were you a kid and were you still collecting when this set came out? Or were you maybe not into the hobby back then, but now you are a fan? Do you see it as just a money grab or a cash grab from Wizards of the Coast doing another reprint? Let me know down in the comments below. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit that thumbs up button, smash that subscribe button. Let me know any other videos that you want to see down in the comments below. But until next time, remember, jacked, stacked, serial thriller of Pokemon card collecting. This ain't no gimmick, it's a lifestyle.